All right then, so since we have of the user information, so now all we have to do is to go ahead and create the custom header component. So to do that, all we have to do is to go to the components folder, src components folder, and here I'm going to create a new file called header.jsx rafce, and let's export it from here, header, and export it in the name as header itself. Save these changes, get back. We don't need this, we don't need this user index.api, don't need, close the unnecessary things. Index.css not necessary, tailwind config, index.js not necessary. Let's keep it simple. Okay, let's get back to the, we don't need this authentication part also, we already successfully completed. So let's open the home screen.jsx. This is the place that it's getting it will be navigated, because that's the place right now we are. Okay, so now if the user navigated to the home screen, so home screen, now all we have to do is to start writing the customized screen over here, class name. So it should take the width as complete width, and flex, everything should be in the column direction, and items should be in the center, and it should be from the center. That should keep it in the center. So over here, this header is a fixed header, and the rest of the part, these are things are completely different UI. Okay, so those are complete different routes. For instance, if I click this, you can see this header is still there, but the remaining part is changed over there. So to do that, so we need to bring the header component over here. Then inside the main section, so main section, we need to bring our custom routes. Again, sub custom routes, we need to bring it over here. Cool, right? So let's import the header from the components folder. Let's bring the header, and inside here we have to bring those custom routes and everything. So don't worry about the custom routes. So header component is being successfully loaded. Let's get back to the header.jsx. So inside the header itself, we need to get that information. So inside the header, we need to fetch that user information, authenticated user information. So you can't see the user information over here. So let's go to the authentication screen and copy this line, and let's paste it over here, save it, save the changes, and now you can see we have that user information is displayed over there, right? So because the query client is executed and it's having that user information over there. All right, so now we have that user data right now. And then what I need to do, I need to display this user information just like the same way how I did over here. So let's bring that header first. So what we have to do is let's fix the styles for the header first, then we can start writing the remaining part. So let me delete this. Header. Inside this header, what I need to do, I need to bring the logo, then I need to bring the input field for the search option, then I need to bring the profile section. These are the things I need to do. So here for the header, class name, let's keep this width as full, flex, item center, and justify between, and px it's going to be 4, and py it's going to be 3. From on the large device, px it's going to be 8, and border bottom and border gray 300, border gray 300. Let me enable the word wrap so that you can see the complete screen. Then bg primary color, then z index always should be on the top, and the gap between each object should be 12, and it should be always in the top sticky position, which means if I scroll down, for instance, if I scroll down, I should always see this navigation bar. It should be always stick to the top of that menu. So sticky position should be sticky, and as well as it should be always in the top 0. So save these changes. Now you should be able to see a border line which is looking over there. Then I need to bring the logo. So I'm just going to bring the logo, which exactly the same way which we displayed in the footer section. So let's import this link, and as well as let's bring this logo. So that will display the logo over there. Then what I need to do, I need to bring a custom division to display that input section. So class name, So it should take all the available space which is having inside. So then of course it should have the border, and the border gray 300. Then px is going to be 4, py it's going to be 1, rounded of course it's going to be medium, and then flex item center justify between, because if you notice here, if I start typing something, it's bringing that X mark and if I click this, it's not displaying over there. Later we need to do that part also, so we need to write the UI styles according to that, right? Then bg gray 200. So inside here, I'm going to bring the input tag text placeholder. It's going to be search here, and the value on the on change event, we can do that later part. So because we need to create a separate state in the query client to directly push the data, whatever we are typing into that state, because every time we are applying the filter, we need to use that filter in the different routes as well as, right? Because this is a different custom route and we are filtering based on the data, whatever we are typing over here, because the query client is keep on updating and this component is rendering based on that query client state. So that's the reason we need to directly work with the query client state, that state management library. Okay, so I will explain it briefly when we are going inside the part of filtrations. Right now, let's keep it as simple as that. Just directly start writing the class flex1. It should take the complete available space inside, and I'm fixing the height as 10, and I'm going to keep the transparent bg. Text size, it's going to be base, and font, of course, it's going to be semi bold, and outline is going to be none, and of course border is also going to be none. Save these changes, and that should looks like this. Okay, so okay, rounded, not bottom MD, rounded MD, so that should bring the borders everywhere. So now what we have to do is we have to bring the profile sections. So if the profile section is still loading, we need to bring that animation loading also, right? So that's the reason we added the framer motion. I hope we already added the framer motion. So let's check that. Let's open the package.json, make sure that we added the framer motion. All right, so we already added it. Now what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to bring the animate presence, which is provided by your framer motion itself. So this animate presence inside, we need to write the animations inside this animate presence, because that helps us to insert and exit the animations smoothly, like ease in and ease out. So that's the purpose. So if the user loading is, if still the query client is loading to fetch the user data, which means it's loading, so I need to bring that puff loader animations, puff loader, then color, of course it's going to use the same color 498 FCD, that's a custom color which I'm using. So then size is going to be 40. Then if it is not loading, which means it's having some data in it, so I'm going to bring the react dot fragment inside this. I need to bring that if that is having some data and all those things, I need to display that data. So I'm going to create a paragraph tag and I'm going to simply display it as a user, because the user data is there, then we are displaying the data. So if I refresh this, you can see it's loading that puff animation, which means it's trying to fetch that user information. So it's loading. If I can show you here, see, it's loading there. So inside here, I need to make sure whether the data is there, we need to display the user information. If the data is not there, we need to display that login button. So over here, if the data is there, then I need to create motion.div. So basically this motion is a package which is coming from the framer motion, which helps us to write the animation. So import that as well. If not, I need to display a button which is going to resembles a button, like what's it? We need to push that user to the login screen, right? So I need to bring the link from the React router DOM, and that is going to link the user to the auth screen. So make sure that's the screen name. Yes, auth screen URL route auth. Then And inside here I'm going to have a button, motion dot button, and inside this button I'm going to simply display the text as login. Save these changes. So this button is not going to display anyway right now. Make later we can do the customizations and everything, because we do have the data. So I need to bring the data over here. So if we have the data, so I need to display that image over here, right? So before that I'm going to write the class name for this. So class name, let's say I think we don't need any styles for this division. Okay, let's keep this division as an empty. That is one tricky part over here. What I'm trying to say is, so not every single over here user will have the profile URL. Some user, they don't have the profile URL. In that case, we need to display the very first letter of their email over there. So every time when you're trying to display an image, we need to check that if the data dot photo URL, if the user have the photo URL, then I need to display a division. I need to display a division. If not, I need to display another division. Save the changes. So here, let's bring the class name. If the user have the image URL, so let's bring the width as 12, height as 12, and rounded MD, relative, and flex, item center, justify center. So inside here, now we have to bring the image tag. So let's bring the image tag over here. All right, so inside this source, now let's delete this. Okay, so we need to bring that the photo URL of that user. So let's say data colon photo URL. Let's keep that photo URL in the source. And of course, we need to add the referrer policy also, referrer policy, and let's keep that referrer policy as no referrer. And let's add some styles for this class name, which is going to use the width full, hatch full, and object cover, and rounded MD. So that should display the image over there. How cool is that? If the user is not there, if the user image is not there, so that is going to display this particular division, right? And the BG, I'm going to keep it as BG blue 700. So if that user is not there, so of course it's going to display this particular section, right? BG blue 700, and let's add some shadow medium. So let's say give a wrong input over here. So it is supposed to display the, okay, there is some mistake over here in the width hyphen, here also hyphen. So now we should able to see that width. And inside here I need to display that, because I forcefully changed this we don't have this object, so that's the reason we are able to see that. So here what I need to do is I need to bring that what to say I need to bring that the very first letter of that particular logged in user. So let's create a paragraph tag. So here I'm just going to say data dot display name. So let's get that display name, and let's use the 0. Either you can use their email or you can use their Gmail display name. In this case, sometimes you might not also have the display name as well. So let's use the email itself. So save the changes. Now that should display the first letter over there. So let's bring the class name and let's add text LG and text white. So you can able to see the text over there. Cool, right? So for this division, let's add the cursor as a pointer. cursor pointer for both. Now you should able to see the cursor over here. So let's get back to this, say the changes. So that should display the image. So this is that division, right? Inside this division, now what we need to do is, all we have to do is to we have to bring that this is that division. So for this division, what we have to do is, so we need to keep this division. This is the division that we are worrying about, right? So this is getting more and more trickier now. Okay. So now what we are trying to do here is, we have to display this drop down menu, right? We have to display that drop down menu. So to bring that drop down menu, what I need to do is, for this particular division, I'm just going to make this position as a relative position, relative. So then, and inside here, I'm going to bring that drop down menu. So that's what we are trying to do here. So let's create one more division over here, and let's keep that division as an absolute position, absolute. And what else we have to do? And let's add some padding for it. Px, it's going to be 4, py, it's going to be 3, and rounded md, and background bg, it's going to be white, absolute, and it should be in the right side. And from the top, I'm going to bring it 10, and everything should be flex column, item center, and justify everything in the starting position. And gap should be 3, and width, of course, it's going to be 64. And from the padding top, I'm going to increase a little bit, 12. So this is how it should looks like. And I think we need to push further down. 16, I think it's enough. Yep, 16 is too much. 14, yep, 14 is perfect. Even if the photo URL is not there, yep, that is supposed to be displayed over there. Cool, right? So inside here, now what we need to do, if the photo URL is there, we need to display the photo URL. If not, we need to display that text option. So inside this drop down option, so here, so let's change this to motion division, motion.div, and let's wrap this inside the animate presence, save the changes. Cool, that's looking fine. All right, so now what we have to do is we have to bring the content exactly looking like this inside that particular menu. So that's what we are trying to do next.